Mental health, they cry. A term for people who are dying inside. It's mental health, they say. Each day you will hear it as an emergence of death has occurred in this world. Every boy, every girl, lost, never found, as they scream on the inside, not making a sound. The men and women walk void on a path that surely, God surely, was never meant to be this hard. Society sits quiet as they count up the stats of all the men and women who jump from the rooftop flats, and the train tracks are littered with the pages of life story after life story that ended so poorly. And all the families gather together looking lost and confused at the loss of a used up soul that couldn't find their way out of the big black hole. It's a funny old concept, mental health. Some see it as a bad thing, whilst others see wealth as sertraline and Prozac fly off the shelf. Now, I'm not having a pop at anyone, heaven forbid. This is not the time to blame a huge profiting industry that works hand in hand with another industry that contaminates the food of all the boys and girls, the women and men who eat the food and pop the pills again and again. Let's just keep this strictly on point and discuss the serious matter of how we help one another find a way out of this diabolical future historical era where a man doesn't die at the hands of Mother Nature but at the hands of himself because he listens to a voice saying, I hate ya, you're worthless and a burden to this world, so why don't you fuck off and make everyone happy, you pointless human being. Well, why would a man do that, you ask? It's mental health, society says. The same society that created this mess, and the same society that likes to address a problem after the fact of countless deaths. But didn't they see it coming sooner? And if they did, why didn't they do anything about it? Because they don't really care. Where there's loss, there is gain. But no one is gaining from death, you will say. Listen, these industries have been keeping us sick from the earliest days. Sorry, I'm going off track again, trying to point the middle finger. I want to make it clear what my purpose is with this message. It's to turn my back on mental health as an idea. You see, I'm a little bit dubious, suspicious, somewhat curious as to why when I was sectioned for a drug-induced psychosis, I was immediately offered drugs to ease me into a process that quite frankly is a little bit sketchy because they don't really know what to do other than to keep you a little bit sleepy. Now don't get me wrong, the sleeping tablets were good. But the antipsychotics were bad because the severe anxiety side effects were driving me mad. For the record, I take full responsibility for what happened to me. The truth is, there was never a drug-induced psychosis. I know this in my heart. I'd had a little issue and I'd had it from the start. And when I say this, I mean from the youngest age, when a little voice inside my head tormented me most days. And this brings me to my point. I don't know anything about mental health, but I know a lot about that little voice residing in your head. The voice that likes to whisper and interpret all you see, that sees fit to run you down until you drown in the sound of that voice, until you can't take any more of that voice, which echoes the thoughts, opinions and ideas of all the influences in your life. But who said they were right? They just might have been wrong. The voice is the one that has influenced your bad choices, which have affected your mind, the mind that is not healthy and not equipped to deal with life anymore, which is why you see the logic in closing the door. Because you can't run, you can't hide, you can't simply brush it aside. It's a part of you, something you believe to be true, but it's not. My message is this. It's the voice that we face, not mental health. And I'm going to prove it to you so you can reclaim yourself. Reclaim the you that was lost over time and find your light which is buried inside. Have a think about what I've said. And if you trace your depression and anxiety back, you will always discover the voice in your head.